Do you say I'm autistic, I have autism, or I'm an Aspie? I've noticed that the older generation say that they're Aspies, and I did start saying that at first. Oh, I'm an Aspie, because it sounded really cool. But then everyone, not everyone, few people with opinions thought that I should have some savvy talent. But I don't. I'm just a normal person doing what I can to get by. And then I don't like saying, because I take things literally, I take the written word and the spoken word literally. I don't like saying I have autism because it sounds like I have a suitcase full of autism. Do you want some? It's contagious. You might catch it, or it sounds like a disease. And a lot of people think that saying I'm autistic is quite negative, like it's got negative connotations. And I'm wondering why people are giving me advice saying, why don't you say I have sensory issues? Well, I do have sensory issues. And if it was just sensory issues, I would say, oh, please excuse me, I have sensory issues. Can we take this conversation somewhere quiet? But it's not just sensory issues, it's perception. It's not even an issue, it's a different perception. It's a brain wiring. You're born with a different brain wiring to the mainstream. I'm not academic by any means, but a lot of autistic people or people with autism are quite academic. But a lot of the autistic people I know are very creative. But as you know, society is not built for creative types unless you do fine art in university and really push yourself. And you have got to really push yourself. You've got to market yourself because nobody else will, unless you've just come out of college and you're really young and you've got lots of people rooting for you and writing about you in magazines and giving you opportunities and platforms, you know. But when you're late diagnosed, misdiagnosed, undiagnosed, there's people my age looking at me thinking, you're not autistic. And I'm thinking, I bet you that you are autistic. It's just you don't know what it is because you haven't read up on it properly, or you think to be autistic you have to be constantly flapping your hands around the place or headbutting walls or something, you know. But yeah, we can have our traits exacerbated by different things. Different, you know, you could have a VAX injury, and some of you might not agree that that can be the case, but I know a lot of people who have had VAX injuries. You could be born blind and be autistic. You could be bipolar and autistic. But it doesn't help when we've got the mainstream giving us films where at the end of the film you'll see the autistic person shoot down a load of people because they're autistic. But that's not the case. That's a psychopath who just happens to be autistic, and they've made the film all about him and his autism, or her, whatever, or them, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that you can be autistic without displaying the traits that appease people and so that they believe you, you know. I was at the height of my post-traumatic stress before I showed any symptoms or traits, and my behaviour is exacerbated by my surroundings, by the people I'm with. So I've isolated myself. I've had therapy. I've been on medication. I've been on the wrong medication. I've been misdiagnosed. I've been treated awful in the mental health services. I've suffered so much depression and I haven't wanted to live. But I've come out the other end, and I choose to say I'm autistic because it's my brain wiring. I was born autistic. And when I look back at my childhood, it is so obvious. And my parents are saying, well, my mum, oh, if only we'd known, you know, if only we'd been aware. But there's nothing they could have done different that would have made it any better or any worse. So me choosing to say I'm autistic is absolutely fine. If you want to say you have autism, that's absolutely fine with me. But my literal mind just spins. I have really strong visuals. When people say things like, you know, like sayings like cat on hot bricks, I have a visual and it's very, very strong. And yeah, sometimes people are talking to me in a loud environment and the image takes up my whole brain. And I can't understand what the person's saying. Maybe I agree to things I don't want to do. I need to be very careful who I hang around with, if anyone. I need to make sure that people understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, I'm a bit shaky. Sorry, the camera's shaking. I have got a tremor in my right hand, and even though I'm holding it on my steering wheel, it's still difficult to hold the camera still, and I do get self-conscious looking at the camera because I can see in my peripheral vision myself, but I'm looking into the camera this time. I'm not being camera shy anymore. I've quit my addictions. I've come off all social media, and I'm going to get lower data, so I'm not going to be spending much time on WhatsApp and stuff like that. And I'm thinking if people want to call me, it would be really helpful if it wasn't out of the blue, because I do research a lot of stuff and I do upload a lot of stuff onto YouTube, informative videos and music. So when somebody phones out of the blue, I won't answer. I will just wait. I put on silent, unless it's already on silent, like it is most of the time. And I'll wait until the call is over, because I don't want to hang up on you and be rude. But if it's an insurance company, I definitely will hang up. If it's a random number I don't recognise, I will hang up. Doctor surgery rang me yesterday at the peak of rush hour, and I just couldn't deal with it, out of the blue. I'm really grateful for the call, because I've been trying to get through to the doctor for the last 3 years at 8 o'clock in the morning, to no avail. So I'm a bit gutted that I've missed the doctor's call, and I'm praying that they'll phone me back on Monday, where I'll be more prepared for a call, because my autistic psychiatrist is going to call me, and I'm aware that she's going to call me. So I've got time to make sure I'm in a quiet space, make sure I've got enough energy and I can retain the information over the phone, because phone calls are really difficult for me. Excuse me. So yeah, I hope I've cleared that up. I don't say Aspie anymore, because people expect you to have savvy talents, and there is Nazi connotations to Aspies. But Tony Attwood still calls autistic people Aspies, and I think Tony Attwood is amazing. If you want to know anything about girls with autism, or autistic girls, or late diagnosed, and masking, high masking in girls, it's not just girls, it's like you could be of a quiet nature, so boys can highly mask too. You know, it all depends where you're born into. What is your environment like growing up? Have you had any trauma? Everything is a factor. So I just wish there was, less stigma, and I want to break the myths surrounding autism, and that's why I'm starting a YouTube channel, and I've had to upload loads of short videos for 20 seconds just so the algorithms pick up what my channel's about. So this video is a little bit longer, and I'll upload it to YouTube straight away, and I just hope the algorithms pick it up so I can get 500 subscribers, so that I can get my YouTube channel monetized, so that I actually can have an impact on the world, help teachers, help parents, help autistic people, undiagnosed, misdiagnosed, late diagnosed, people who don't even think they are autistic, but I can see clearly that they are. I have no gaydar, but I have an autistic dar, and usually I'm right about that, not about everything. I have got lots of opinions about lots of things, but I appreciate and respect other people's opinions, as long as you're not harming anyone and you're not harming Mother Earth, everything's fine by me. Just be kind to each other, spend less time online, and never mind the hashtag be kind, just be kind, and please don't judge, and do a bit of research on autism, because it has evolved over the years, and now it's called ASD, which is a disorder. And after my 10-hour assessment over a period of 2 weeks on 2 separate days, what I thought they were gonna assess me on was nothing to do with what they were actually assessing me on. They put a weighted blanket on my lap in the second half of the assessment. They had stim toys on the table. I had to interpret a book with no words. There was things that they were looking at, the psychiatrist and the OT, that I didn't have a clue had any relation to being autistic. And I have learned a lot, really have learned a lot. And I am really grateful for the dark nights of the soul, and for the OCD on social media. I've worked in 42 jobs. None of them have suited me, but at last I think I found something that does suit me, and that's to concentrate on informing people about autism and carry on being creative and sharing my music and my art with you in hope that people get inspired, because it saves me, it saves my life. It makes me feel like life is worthwhile. Okay, thank you for listening.